Welcome to Brick by Brick, redefining success. My name is Michael, and this is the amazing, incredible Jessica.
Welcome to Brick by Brick, the podcast where we build your real estate dreams one brick at a time, all while cracking jokes and sharing personal growth insight. Brick by Brick is hosted by real estate and mortgage professionals who moonlight as comedians. Trust me, we are funnier than your normal real estate professionals. While our real estate and mortgage knowledge is as solid as a brick wall, the information shared here is primarily for chuckles and entertainment.
Woosah.
If you're looking for serious, no-nonsense real estate advice, please consult a qualified professional. But if you are here for some laughs and some property wisdom, you've come to the right place. Now let's get started with the show and let's make your real estate journey a little less concrete.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Brick by Brick, redefining success. My name is Michael. This is Jess, co-host, and we have a special guest for you today. You wouldn't even believe it. The controversial king himself. The guy that went from 0 to a lot of followers in a short period of time. I'm going to introduce you to Trey TG. What's up? Hi, Trey.
What's going on? That's how you know me from a while.
I know.
Trey TG.
Trey TG. How long ago was that?
Not long. I kind of changed the name, I think, at the end of 2022. So.
Oh, okay. Why'd you change it? Why'd you change?
Well, Travain is my name, right? Mm-hmm. So Trey was short for that. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm going to cut it to Trav. I was going to go by Travain, but a lot of people have a hard time saying that. So.
How did you guys
switched
meet?
it up.
Ooh.
Oh,
great question.
I was like, I don't know nothing about this. So how did you guys meet?
All right.
So I got to do an introduction for Mike before he became Mike, the real estate guy.
Oh, I want
This
to know
guy
this.
right here, I still have him saved on my phone as the SDK.
Oh, my God.
You know what that means?
I know.
Wait. Hey, catch me up.
Okay, so I met Mike. I think this is actually how I met you. It was Sugar Daddy.
Yeah, Sugar Daddy.
So I used to call him.
What's this saga sugar daddy?
Shout out to Slick Vic.
Vic.
It was Jimmy.
What's up?
Shout out to you guys. But I met Mike at Sugar Daddy. So I used to call this guy the Sugar Daddy's king. If you go to Sugar Daddy's, you know Mike. He
No way.
basically owned the club.
Back then,
Yeah.
it was...
All I think of is when old people, old guys just sitting in the corner. I think of sugar daddies.
No.
No, back in
Back
our
then?
time, it was. This is when we're college time, you know?
Okay,
So
okay.
it was good. It was
all the dancehall artists came there. Every artist was there every single week. Slick
Yeah.
Vic was the king.
That's how you learn to dance.
Yes.
You too?
I do the basics, but
The basics.
this guy was the pro. If I'm going to Sugar Daddy's, I'd be like, yo, Mike, I'm on my way to your house. So can you get me in? You gonna open the door for me?
You know the craziest thing about
No, I did not know that.
nobody went to the club before 12:31.
Yeah.
That was the time because all the cool people were pulling up at that time.
Yeah,
The cool people.
Man, we went back in the days, man.
way back.
You guys are aging yourself, but that's okay.
All
I'm just saying, I'm back in the day or something.
It was back. It was 1 years ago or more, maybe
10, 12.
Yeah,
years ago?
Yeah, you're definitely aging yourself. That's fine.
Wow. Now,
Real
Great.
estate. And
and you see,
I don't even know what I do. Social media. Yeah.
yeah, right?
I wouldn't say
I don't think so, yeah.
I would say, based on what I see, is you redefined yourself in a different way,
For
right?
sure.
What you're doing right now, what was the idea behind it? How did you come up with that idea?
So what happened is I used to do fitness content. I still kind of do, right? So I was really big on fitness. I lift a lot, so I kind of post that. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take social media a little bit more serious. I used to take social media serious back in the day. A lot of people don't know this, but in 2010, 2012, when Twitter first came out, I was really big on Twitter. I used to start trending topics, all that kind of stuff. And
Oh yeah, your skinny days.
yeah. Skin dudes. Yeah. So I used to do social media, and then I quit in I think 2014, 2015. Took a little break. And then 2022, at the end of 2022, mid 2022, I was like, okay, let's get back into fitness content.
Cool.
My boy Eric Yannicki, he flew from Cali, so he's an influencer. He's really big in the fitness industry, right? And then he was recording some videos with my boy Safe. He wanted to collab with me, so we actually did a couple videos together. And then in the gym, I was just like, you know what? Let me interview him and just ask him a couple questions. So I actually asked him. I think the question I came up with off the top was yo, she's a 10, but she skips upper body days. 'Cause a lot of girls don't train upper.
I
You remember that video? I don't know if you remember that video.
that video.
So I was like, yeah, she's a 10, but she skips upper body days. And then he gave some answer that like shocked me. Or I said she's an 8, but she skips upper body days. He's like, yeah, she's a 10. Like I'm all about that thick lower. He's like, I don't care about the upper. And then every girl was like obsessed with that answer. So they all kind of liked it. It went to like 500K on TikTok. And I was like, okay, maybe I should do some more interviews. I actually also asked him another controversial question that he had me take it down because it was attracting too much heat. But that's when I was like, you know what, let's like take this to the street and just ask more people some more questions.
Wow.
How are people usually like random people you go up to and you're asking these questions? Are most people receptive or somewhere like?
I'd say majority are down to do interviews.
Okay.
A lot of the one question I get asked the most is like, where do you find these people? But honestly, it's not hard. I feel like you have a conversation with anyone. If you hit the right question, you can kind of trigger like some emotion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just go up to random people, ask them questions. Sometimes the interview's not good and I will use it. Sometimes you have to ask the right questions to get them to show the emotions.
Yeah.
How many followers do you have on like your platforms now?
I don't know this off the top of my head, but I have like 189K on TikTok.
Nice.
I think I'm at like 54 point something on Instagram.
Oh,
It's still views though for him.
Yeah. We refuse them.
my main question is how long did it take you to build that? Because I know you started a new, almost like a new channel, right?
Yeah, I started everything from scratch. So like I think my first interview was at the end of October in 2022, which was the one I told you about with Eric.
Oh, you're in a bed.
And then I started doing like interviews on the street, I think at the end of like November is when I was like, you know what, let's take it to the street. So basically like November 2022 is like when I really started doing interviews regularly. And at first the success wasn't really there because I was still doing like my fitness content. So I'd post like me coming out of a car, like a model shoot, and then I post like a fitness video, deadlifting 700 pounds, post an interview, right? I post an interview and the interview would always do better than all the other videos. But then a lot of people never stayed on my page because they're just like, okay, this is like a one video out of like the last 10 are just fitness related.
Consistent.
So what happened was, I'll tell you the exact story of why I decided to just go full-time interviews. I was in Cuba for my birthday in 2022. I went with my boy Freddie. Shout out Freddie. I went with my boy Safe.
Shout out to Fred.
Shout out Safe.
Yeah.
And Safe had this thing where he's like, yo, by the end of the year, WorldStar's going to post you. He would say that as soon as I started doing interviews, like by the end of the year, WorldStar's going to post you. So in Cuba, WorldStar hit me up on my birthday. They're like, yo, we want to like buy the rights to this video. We want to post it. I was like, okay, cool. I don't even care what you're paying. Just post it. You know, like, I don't even care. So I signed all the contracts. I sent it to them, whatever. And that was like the best birthday like gift I had that year, right? And then they ended up posting it like, they took like 2-3 weeks. So they posted it like January, like beginning of January. And the one thing I found is like when WorldStar posted the video, it went viral on their page. But like it didn't like translate to followers on my page. I was like, bro, I thought I was gonna blow up. Like I thought I made it. I still have like I think like less than 5K, right? And then my boy Safe was just like, yo, I think it's because you're not consistent, like you're not niche down. So like when people go to your page, they're gonna look for more videos like that. They don't see it, so they don't follow. So I was like, you know what? That's probably right. So after that, I just started posting interviews only on that page. I actually made a separate page for like my personal. And then I started posting more. They hit me up like 3 weeks later. They're like, yo, we want to post another video. And then that video kind of went viral again. But then this time it translated to followers because I just had like a bunch of interviews. So now when you go to my page, it's like you end up liking like a bunch of videos. And then sometimes they'll hit the follow button too, right? So
That's amazing.
niche down. That's the tip. I'm not going to lie.
That's the tip.
If you're very niched, people in that little category will follow you, you know?
That's what I found in, because I have TikTok too, right? That's what I found in TikTok is being niche down. I'm trying not to be too niche down to just dance, because I do have real estate and then I have like that other side. You have to.
See, I've seen some of your videos on TikTok that went viral.
Yeah.
Congrats on that, by the way.
Yes.
You have like some skits that go viral, and you've had a couple dance videos that go viral. So I feel like you got to pick which lane you're going to get into, because if I'm on your page because of your skits, let's say, if I'm seeing dancing videos, I'm going to be like, what's this guy doing?
Yeah.
I'm not going to hit the follow button.
Exactly.
But if I go on your page and I see a bunch of other skits that make me laugh, then I'll be more likely to follow you. So niching down is true. If you make 2 pages, one for dance, one for
Real
skits,
estate, yeah.
You are completely right, and I've been thinking about that a lot lately. How do you deal with the new fame? Because I know Jess wants to ask you a question. She got a lot of questions for you. How do you deal with that fame?
You know what? I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even think I'm famous, like at all. There are people that like recognize me, yes, because of I think the one video that really went viral for me that that made people know who I was. And I actually did something. I switched it. So before I used to ask questions, I never used to give an input. So like people would follow my content more so for the responses of the people I'm interviewing. So one thing I started doing last year was I started like involving myself more. So I might ask you a question, but now I might rebuttal your answer or give my take on it a little bit, you know?
Smart.
I don't want to give too much because I'm not trying to like pick a side, but like I'll kind of challenge what you're saying more. So that's one thing I started doing. And I don't know if you saw the misogyny video.
Yes.
The girl called me misogynist. I'm a misogynist. And I was just like, okay, cool. Like
What is
I explained the definition to her. If you watch the full video,
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
explained it to her. I was like, how am I that? And then she was just like, no, you're misogynistic. And I was just like, wait, does she even know what it means?
Yeah.
So I was like,
But
what do you
did you
think it like,
say?
what do you think it means?
But what did you say? Going back to the video, what did you say was like, why did she call you that? Or in
Okay,
she didn't know the
full
meaning.
video is this. Basically what happened was she came down the street. I saw her. That's like my perfect, like I like interviewing people
Yeah.
that were like appear like her,
Yeah.
right? So I asked her a couple questions in regards to her outfit because she was basically wearing nothing. Like, let's be real. She had like
yes.
2 strings covering, I think, her nipples, and like everything else was like
Wow.
open to,
Wild.
yeah. So I was just like, when it comes to the outfit, would you dress that way if you had a boyfriend? Simple question.
Great question.
It's yes, if no, maybe. She said some boyfriends wouldn't mind, some cared, but she pretty much said she'd still do it.
Okay.
Okay.
So because I asked her about her outfit, she then said that I was misogynistic. But I wasn't being misogynist. I was just letting you know, based on how you present yourself, that's how people will take you, right? So you, for example, like you're dressed well right now. If I see you, I'd probably assume you're very educated.
Yep.
You know, you look well put together. If you came in wearing a bandana, your pants sagging down to your knees, I'm going to be like, yo, this guy's probably from some hood.
Yeah.
Right?
romance.
The way you dress, it basically, that's how people will take you. So I was letting her know, like, you're going to get attention, yes. And I think that's the reason a lot of women dress that way, because they want that validation. They want that attention, that male attention. And as we're doing the interview, there were guys walking by, like, catcalling her. But yes, you're going to get that attention, but it's not going to be in a positive way that you want it to be. No guy's going to see a girl wearing nothing and say, hey, like, that's my wife right there. Like, they're going to see it as like that'll be fun for tonight, you know? So that's just what I was trying to explain to her. But I don't think there's anything like misogynistic about it. It's just the facts of how men view women with the way they dress. And I'm sure women view men the way they dress too.
Absolutely.
So
I was actually going to say that. I was like, as humans, we have perspective, like perception, right? So we look at you, I will look at you, I will look at you, and automatically my brain has made a certain story in my head about what you do. What, like you said, you look educated or same. Like everyone does that, like men and women, right? And it's interesting you say that women dress a certain way to get attention, right? Okay, but what if they just dress that for themselves? It's like what they feel confident in, maybe.
So you're telling me if you're the last woman in the world, you'd be walking around with 2 strings holding your nipples together?
No,
No,
I just personally
you would
don't dress
not be
like
doing
that.
your makeup every day. You would not be doing your hair every day. The reason you dress the way you are right now is because you're on this podcast and you know it might go, you know, it might get some views. So you're dressed for that.
Yeah.
You're not dressed. If you're dressed for yourself, you'd come wearing comfy clothes.
sweat.
Why would you want to wear heels and no clothes outside in minus 20 degrees if you're dressing for yourself?
Fair. That's a fair point. But also, here's the thing. I think the misogynistic part, here's
You're
the
representing
coming-
women right now.
I know.
Yes.
Coming from well, odds are like
A
there's
lot
3.
of women will say that exact thing. I'm dressing for me. I'm getting lip fillers for me. I'm doing Botox for me. I'm naked in minus 20 degrees for me. No, you're not. You'd be warm if
Was
it was
she
up to you.
single? Did she confirm she was single?
She did say she was single.
Okay, so that makes sense. Okay. But here's the thing, right?
But
I mean,
that doesn't make sense because if your goal is to find a man,
but what
why
if
would you
that wasn't
wanna-
her goal?
no. And I'm sure long term, your goal is to find a husband.
Yes.
Like you want to find a man, you want to find a husband, you want to start a family.
Yep.
Majority of women, not all of them. I'm sure
No,
some don't. But
I'm just wondering
majority.
about her perception at that time. Like, yes, I want that, or someone else might want that, right? But what if she didn't, right? In that sense. So it's like a prejudgment on your end.
No. Based on our conversation, she did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, based on the okay. So then she was
definitely
hoping
wants
she
to find a man. And that's probably why she's dressed that way, is to get the attention from men, which she will get more attention if she's dressed that way than if she's fully covered.
But here's my question. What kind of attention is she going to get?
That's the thing. But that's what, so here's the thing. You know, you said she's single, so that makes sense. A lot of times women will think, I'm single, so I'm going to wear this clothes. When I'm in a relationship, I'll wear this clothes. When I'm married, I'll start doing these things. If you want to be married, if that's your end goal, you got to start acting that way from now. Because a man's not going to put a ring on you when you're out here dressed like that on King Street, going to the club, partying and hooking up with random men, you got to start presenting yourself as if you are a wife for a man to make you a wife. If that
It's the same way. I'm going to give you an example. So I want you to really, as women, this is what you do. When you see a man dressed up really nice, what is your perspective right away?